Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for the click. A spelling error in my last project inspired me to do this next build. I had to totally redo the project and the YouTube video because I misspelled the word guard. I wasn't very happy because it cost me time and money. So in hopes to never have that happen again, I'm going to make an LED backlit sign that will help remind me to spell check my projects before hitting the print button. Check it out. So please like and subscribe, and let's get started with this project. It's a fun one. I started off by removing the heat shrink tubing that was wrapped around the controller board. I removed just enough to expose the IR receiver sensor. I then got my soldering iron and solder wick and started to remove the solder that was on each one of the contacts on the controller board. Once I removed most of the solder, I reapplied just a little bit more heat and the component came off pretty easily. I then re-tinned the pads on the controller board. I then got 3 inches of 30 gauge wire and soldered it to each connector on the sensor. I applied shrink tubing to each of the connectors to protect it from shorting. Once I was done, it looked like this. I then got the other end of the wire and I soldered it to the controller board. I will now be able to position the line of sight sensor to the front of the sign. I next got some large heat shrink tubing and I wrapped it all around the controller to protect it from shorting. I then turned on my Glowforge and cut out a box that was 6 inches by 8 inches out of 1/8 inch MDF using a box program that I found online. Next, using Gorilla Glue gel, I put a dab on each one of the tabs and I glued my box together. Now it's time to mask it and get it ready for paint. I'm going to be painting the inside of the box white. The reason I chose white is when the LEDs turn on, I want the light to be able to reflect off the white surfaces. Now I'm going to mask the front of the box so I can paint the side of the box black. I ended up spraying about 3 coats on the inside and the outside of the box, doing a light sanding with 220 grit sandpaper in between each coat of black spray paint. Now it's time to cut the USB cable so that I can feed one end through the box so I can make the connection inside of the box. I then got some UV resin and I applied it on the USB cable inside of the box and hit it with some UV light. I use UV resin because it cures quickly. I then got some Gorilla Glue and I applied it to the controller and glued it down to the inside of the box. Next, I adhered the LED strip to the inside as well. I then applied power to the LED strip to test it out, and everything is working fine. I then cut out a black plexiglass frame followed by a clear plexiglass backplate. Here you can see the hole I cut out for the IR sensor. I applied the frame to the box. Then I got the IR sensor and did a test fit and it fit perfectly. I then removed the masking off of both pieces. Next, I'm going to glue the frame to the back plate using weld-on acrylic glue. Just a couple of light dabs will do it. And I didn't have any issues with any clouding of my acrylics. Now it's time to apply 3M double-sided adhesive to the clear plexiglass. Now that I'm done with this step, I'm going to put it aside for later. I designed my sign on Adobe Illustrator and made an SVG. I loaded it into the Glowforge and cut all the pieces out. All the pieces I cut for this part of the sign were translucent. I used translucent acrylic because I wanted the light to shine through it. I did some engraving on the sign, so in those areas I'm going to get some black acrylic paint and I'm going to paint all the areas that were engraved. After you allow the paint to dry and you peel off the masking, those areas will come to life. Now get a flat piece of acrylic and start to gently scrape away all the excess paint. Next, I remove the protective backing off the double-sided adhesive. I grabbed the sign and placed it on the double-sided adhesive, pressing down to ensure good adhesion. I then gathered all the cut translucent pieces and put them by the sign, and then I glued down each piece to the sign. I'm almost done with this build and I'm really liking the way it's turning out. And finally, let's glue down the print button. Now it's time to turn on the sign and see what it looks like. Now let's hammer in a couple of nails and hang the sign right next to the start button. I plugged my sign into a wireless switch and made a group with the laser, the exhaust fan, and the sign. So now when I say, "Echo, turn on laser," all three will now come on at the same time. And with the sign being so close to the print button, I'm sure it will remind me to do some spell checking before I hit the print button. This will save me time, material, and money if I do it right the first time. And once again, thanks for watching. And if it happens in my world, I'll more than likely make a video of it. I hope you enjoyed the project, and I hope you use some of the things you learned on this one in a project of your own. Have a great day, and God bless.